Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson, joined as always with me, my man, Mr. Chance, Michael's Chance. How are you, brother?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad at all, brother, man. Here we are. It's Tuesday, 3 days till Friday, the weekend, I guess, That's just the way I kind of look at the week, man.
Break it
Everyone hates,
down.
well, look, everyone hates on Monday, right?
Yeah,
I don't hate on Monday because without Monday, there's no Friday.
that's a good way to look at it.
Right? And I mean, I if days of the week had feelings, I bet Monday would be like one of the depressed days of the week, right? Like no one
Yeah,
likes me, everyone hates me. Like Monday, without Monday, there's no other days. So you gotta go through it. And you know what? Monday Night Raw's on Monday.
it's the best thing about one of the best on
Well,
Monday, I
that's
guess.
it. That's it, man. At one time, and you know me, man, I was Subway and Monday Night Raw, but things have changed. But
You gotta
one
have a
thing,
Subway one of these times.
I'll be honest. I had Subway a couple weeks ago, and I haven't had it in a while. And I'll be honest, just didn't hit me. Like I
The
ate it, it
quality's
was
went down
fine.
over the years, absolutely.
I think everything's quality's gone down. I looked at the sandwich. I'm like, this is a 12 inch. Like I almost wanted to get a ruler. Like I was just looking at it, and I don't know, man. I mean, I guess with the food prices and everything, I guess they're stingy on how
That's
much they
why
put
they're
on,
cutting
right?
back.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, gals, before we get started and break everything down here for you this week, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Your support is endless. I mean, yeah, I can't do this without you guys. So make sure to hit
Absolutely.
that. So, Chance, this weekend we had a whole bunch of things go down, but today we're just going to focus on Night of Champions that happened from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Um, I thought it was an okay card, to be honest.
Wasn't bad.
It was okay. It wasn't the greatest of the shows that I don't know, dude. I had expectations, but I didn't have expectations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's like it wasn't the best show, but it's so hard to do every pay per view beat box office every time. It's hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
travel. Guys are tired.
yeah,
No
yeah.
excuses, but yeah, it's
No,
hard to
no,
make a
no.
good show.
It was good, and I think the other problem is, and we were talking about this a little bit off air. It's like for some for a lot of people, a show might be amazing, but for you and me, we might just kind of see it a little differently, just because
That's
of
true. That's fair.
So that being said, to us saying it's a good show would be a spectacular show for someone else in a lot of
Absolutely.
ways, right? So let's
What
break
was
it.
your favorite match of the night?
I'll be honest. I was really looking forward to the Bianca and Oscar match. I just thought that there was something was going to give there, and sure enough, it did. And I liked how she did it. I liked how it kind of ended. Um, there were a couple other little swerves here and there, but everything else was pretty much standard. The
Was
aligning of Zoe Starks with Trish Stratus, I liked it. It
yeah,
shows
that's a
me
good.
that Trish is probably going to stick around for a while. She doesn't have to wrestle all the time, but taking a young
Just
talent
being
under her
there.
wing,
Yeah,
just being there with a young talent under her wing. And I think, you know what, like we talked about last week, I thought she looked uncomfortable on the stick, but this week she looked better. And I realized that that's just the way Trish is. I remember, maybe she's not the best promo in the world, but
no,
even at the height of her game, that was just how she spoke. It was kind of like in a matter of fact kind of way. But she's getting more comfortable with the role, and you're starting to see that real good heel that she can be coming out. So
yeah,
that
doing
was kind
well.
of cool as well. Jimmy turning on Roman, man. I loved it. I told you
Yeah, it was good.
that match was two things. One, to introduce Sammy to Saudi because he was never able to go there before because of the
Yeah, they
heat
threatened
of
to arrest him before, didn't they? And take kidnap
well,
him and stuff.
well, no, what happened was is Lebanon, he's Lebanese.
Yeah,
He's Lebanese Canadian, Anglo. So he no, sorry, he's Muslim. He's Muslim. Sorry. So he's basically from Lebanon, and apparently Lebanon and Saudi Arabia had some sort of conflict. Due to that conflict, if anyone from Lebanon had gone into the country, they would be subjected to arrest and whatever
and it
they
wasn't
want to
from
do.
was Sammy speaking out against Saudi and talking negative too,
No,
or no?
nothing,
Okay.
nothing. It has more to do with the two countries than it does with
Oh, okay.
Sammy's
Because
name.
Sammy isn't like one of those kind of guys that talks like that, right? So
No, he's not. Like he's outspoken. He's not afraid to speak his opinion, but I think he's smart about what he chooses to speak on, right? So that was kind of like that was a bit of a homecoming. It was really cool to see him come out there. I thought it was really cool to see him do the ring intro. That was really cool.
yeah, it was good.
But I thought the turn was amazing, the way they did it. you and I kind of called it. We thought, again, this match was just furthering that storyline of the bloodline, right? And that's what we got exactly. We basically got what we told you guys what that we were gonna get. The whole card itself was good. I mean, AJ and Seth, I think, was the best match of the night in terms of just match.
That was a good match.
Right? Those two put on a killer clinic. Great way to start off the program. The right guy went over in Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
Now
that
we
was
have
yeah.
now we have a heavyweight champion of the world. And just so that this is what I find weird about WWE on their shows like the Bump and with oh, what's his name? The announcing team, Michael Cole and
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, yeah. They kept saying brand new. This is a brand new title. But WWE has already come out and said this is going to be the continuation of the World Heavyweight title that was let go, like they shut down in 2012.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of things online today, people knocking that title, calling it the secondary title. Now we got 3 belts here, right? I mean, 3 heavyweight belts. They're calling it universal and heavyweight. But this is turning into boxing. You got WBC, WBA.
Yeah, well,
That's
okay.
too much.
So Roman.
It's like throwing Seth the bone.
Okay,
Like, here you
right.
go. You can't beat Roman, but you're the secondary champ.
What they
I think
have
it's saturated and watering it down.
No,
Too many
I
belts.
get that. I get it, but those 2 belts with Roman count as one. Now, if WWE
but why is he carrying 2 to take one off then?
What I'm basically getting at here is what they should do is take those 2 belts and make one out of them, right?
They should.
So that's my.
That's why they're I think they watered it down for Seth. Like, I'm glad for Seth, but to me, it's a secondary title.
Well,
because now you hear him saying he's chasing Roman. Why are you chasing Roman to get that other belt? If this belt is on the same playing field, it's not secondary title. Well, so I don't like how they did that. There was no need for this title.
No.
Like, what does it do? It doesn't do anything. Because now Seth is chasing Roman. Roman should be like, hey, I want your belt, Seth. I want all 3, but he's not. Seth is saying, yeah, I'm going to come for you, blah, blah. I respect you. Like, all the stuff he's saying. But to me, they're making this a secondary title. And if you're going to do that, why have it?
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, fair enough. On first glance, I can't disagree with you. I take the school of thought. I like to see how it plays out. The title's new. Let's see what Roman does. Like I said, I think those 2 titles are considered one, even though he's walking around with 2 belts.
So I'm wondering if they have them 2 separate, if we could end up having 3 different champions here, because there's 3 belts. If not, combine it into one and scrap the other belt.
No. I can answer that for you right now. It's those 2 titles together are considered one. They're not 3
but
separate.
Why do you need 2 titles to be considered one, though?
I think because that's what Roman had from the get-go. He had those 2 belts. That's just the way, that's the look for him, right? I mean, that's what shows his dominance in terms of story, in terms of character, that I took both the belts, sort of a deal.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So you're right.
I get you.
Belt look right?
Right, perhaps for right now.
Like, we got the Super Bowl and we got the Grey Cup. Seth has the Grey Cup.
That's harsh, man. That's harsh.
Well, I mean, no,
that's fine. That's fine.
I don't get why they brought that title out. I don't understand the thinking on that.
Well, again, let's see how it plays out. Right? Yeah. Let's just see how it goes.
It was a good match, though.
Yeah, no. So the match itself was solid. But let's see where they go with it. I thought they took a lot of flack on Monday Night Raw because of AJ showing up there and being a tag team partner.
That's another thing. So he's on. This is what I'm talking about. The draft is useless. Vince should just scrap it, because AJ's on SmackDown and only Omos and Brock will go back and forth. But AJ just had to be on Raw. Like, I know the World Wrestling is not really
last minute call that was actually. To be honest, what happened was AJ actually went back home. He went back to Atlanta. He was sitting at home. And at the very last minute, they called him and said, hey, can you come out for this? So I don't know what the logic behind it was, but I mean, there was no logic, but I mean, I can, no, I'm just going to leave it. I don't know. I can't even justify it. But
they just need to scrap the draft and anybody can go anywhere.
Well, I hope that was just a one-off, right? Let's just hope it's a one-off. If it happens consecutive weeks, then yeah, definitely the draft is a joke.
There's another thing that I noticed about and the Brock and Cody match, I thought was a great match. They were saying Cody would have a titanium cast.
Yeah,
that was no titanium arm cast. That was the rubber thing with a couple Velcros on it. So I'm not sure why they were doing that and not giving him a more make-believable cast.
Because it was covered in black fabric. Underneath was titanium, right? That's the way they were selling it.
Probably they're selling it. Okay,
right? Yeah. It was just like covered up. I mean, if it was just a titanium plate or whatever, you know.
You know, another thing I noticed about Brock Lesnar, if he likes you and respects you, I find he sells for you more. He sells a lot for Cody. He's really putting Cody over by selling for him.
No,
I think he
hey,
respects Cody. I noticed the
okay,
difference.
I want to. That's great that you said that, because what I heard a clip. I'm not big on shorts and stuff like that, but whenever I see a wrestler on a short or a boxer on a short, I'll take a gander.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. I haven't listened to the Sam Roberts podcast in a little bit. I'm probably gonna go back and listen to this episode with John Cena. And John, they're talking, and I don't know where this clip is coming from or what leads up to it, but John Cena basically says that Brock is one of the greatest guys in the business. Because when it's time to put someone over, there's no one greater than Brock to do so. And we saw that
Yeah.
with Drew McIntyre. If he, like you said, if he likes you, he will put you over and make you a superstar, right?
Roman.
Roman, right? He did that for him, and now he's doing it for Cody. He talks about John Cena talked about that match that him and Brock had when Brock had come back and he had suplexed him 1,500 times or whatever,
Yeah, I
right?
remember that match.
Destroyed him,
Yeah.
right? And what happened was is Brock actually came up to him before that match and said, "Hey, Steve Austin and I were having dinner together the night before, and we came up with this idea, and the idea was that match." And Cena, without even flinching, said, "Sure, let's do it." And he's like,
Wow.
what? And so Sam goes, what? Why? Why would you do that? Because it's furthering the product. It's furthering the story. Him doing that to me, destroying me, coming off, and I think he had just come off beating the Taker too, right? So he had just beaten the streak, right?
Yeah.
So for him to come off the streak and just dominate John Cena the way he did, solidifies the win at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. So it justifies that. So it puts The Undertaker in a good spot, puts Brock in a good spot, makes Brock look strong. And
Hmm.
now you have a superstar that can help build other superstars. That's how the business works,
Supposed to, yeah.
right? It's supposed to. And I think this is why guys like Triple H, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Brock Lesnar, and I guarantee at some point Roman Reigns will get this flack too, that, oh, they don't put people over. All they ever did was put people over,
I know that's crazy. It's just some
right?
jealous wrestlers that start these rumors up and people catch on to it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Like the biggest guys on Mount Rushmore are also the biggest guys to promote the product because they know the bigger picture.
That's true.
They know the bigger picture. If they want to be able to watch wrestling on Monday night 15 years from now, they're going to have to make a star, help make the star.
Speaking of Mount Rushmore, did you hear that Shane McMahon called Hulk Hogan last WrestleMania wanted to have a match with him, a retirement
Yeah,
match?
yeah.
Hogan, he's got too many surgeries. I don't think Hogan could do much at 69. He could do some punching. I don't think he could even get the leg up, the leg drop.
Ah, I've always said this about Hogan. I love him, but I think the stupidest finisher in the history of wrestling is the leg drop.
Well, people don't know one thing about that leg drop. He's 6'7" now. He's 6'4". He lost 3 inches on his spine from all that. Right?
Yeah. No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, he always promoted the 24-inch pythons.
Mm-hmm.
Your finisher should have been something like a crazy lariat. It should have been something to do with the pythons, like squeeze the fuck out of someone, right? The
Yeah,
leg drop is just so pointless. It's the dumbest move ever. No one does it.
I know. You don't see it often at
That's
all.
one move that you never see duplicated by anyone. If anyone has copyrighted that move, it's Hogan. No one touches it because they know the damage it can do to your hip,
After long repeated of hitting it, yeah,
right?
yeah, damage is bad. But who knows? Hogan said he might want a retirement match. So I
Well,
guess the Hogan and Shane match could work because you could say your dad and me could beef, and then you could come to the sun. I guess it could have worked, but I don't know how much Hogan could move around. He could barely walk.
I tell you what, if they're talking about it now and it's June or sorry,
Hogan was out
May,
there that podcast that he had there the other day.
yeah, pretty good, eh?
Damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got what, pretty much 8-9 months to get ready.
He can punch and kick and hit a couple chairs. It's going to be like a 2 to 5 minute match.
No, it wouldn't be anything massive, but dude, I was just watching one of his.
Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 40, it sells itself, right? Like that's big to have him there.
Oh, dude, it totally sells himself, man. And you're in the city of brotherly love. You know, you could get Rocky out there if you really wanted to. You get Sly out there for that sort of a deal. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Hogan threw that out
right?
there on purpose, just to kind of get the feelers out there, right? Because
Well,
he wouldn't lie about Shane calling him to say, "Let's do it."
No, I think it'd be funny to see, right? Fun to see, sorry, not funny. But I think it'd be fun. It'd just be kind of like, a bookend for him. Because technically, yeah, he's retired, but he never really went out. You know what I mean? He never really went out. I mean, I think
It's kind of faded out.
Yeah, Ric Flair's had more retirement matches than him. And this dude's fucking jacked, man. Hogan is still
Hogan's
huge.
huge still, man.
I was just
He is.
watching one of his promos for the Hogan karaoke thing he does at his
Yeah, on the
beach.
Fridays.
And he was just standing doing the side profile thing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's arms are still monstrous.
69 years old, dude. It's unreal.
I guess you don't lose it if you have that size and you maintain it throughout your whole
He's a
life.
naturally big guy. He's big. His arms are bigger than Vince. Vince is pretty big too, but he ain't that big.
No, for sure, for sure. All right, so
Yeah.
Cody versus Brock. Let's get into that one very quickly here. You know what? I think the right thing happened here. They prolonged it. They made it work. And like I told you, Cody wouldn't tap out. He faded out. So Brock won.
Actually, thanks for bringing that up. He got that idea from his dad when his dad faded out to one of Ric Flair's figure fours.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a little subtle ode to his dad. A lot of people didn't catch up on. Once I seen it go like this, I'm like, oh yeah, Dusty that to Rick, so he's doing a tribute to his dad without saying. I'm surprised the announcers didn't catch on to it, but that's why he did that.
Yeah, no, I saw that as well, and I picked up on that as well. Right, it was a really good spot, and you know what? I like it. Passing out is so much better than tapping, man. No one gets hurt. In fact, you're commended that you didn't tap. You lost, but you didn't lose, right? So no, it's good for Brock. He got what he needed, what I think he needed for sure, for his character, for him. This
finishes up at SummerSlam here.
Something like that. Well, we'll see. We got Money in the Bank coming up, and then we got Great American Bash. We got 2 more shows to come. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Cody until then. But
he'll let him heal up, and he'll take a run at Brock for.
Yeah. But he's got to have like some sort of supplemental feud because it's 2 months, right? 2 months in the world of professional wrestling is a lifetime.
Oh, big time. Absolutely, dude.
So we're talking about 8 shows here before SummerSlam, or 16 shows before SummerSlam if you want to count Fridays as well, right? So that's a lot in the world of wrestling. We've seen guys become best friends on week 1 and then bitter enemies by week 16.
Yeah, well, like you said, we have such a short attention span society that you don't keep it hot for a few, so you forget about it and we're on to the next thing, right?
Yeah. Like you could keep this fight for SummerSlam. It'd be probably the best place for it. I think so. With the crowd and everything. But what do you do for the next couple of months, right? So, and I don't think you can really do any hunting right now. So I guess you could just be fishing, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Let them come out for 1 or 2 Raws of SmackDowns.
Yeah. Because there's hunting's mainly fall and winter, right? Yeah. So no hunting right now. So I guess just fishing for Mr.
Yeah, maybe fishing weights.
Right, and fishing. That's about it. All right, Lou. Rhea Ripley, Natalia squash match, totally expected. Didn't have much of an expectation for that at all. Just something to kind of pass the time. But let's talk about Bianca and Asuka. I thought these two had a really, really good match. Started a little slow. Last couple of Bianca matches have started slow, but they find their momentum and they start to pick up their speed. Really well done, really well executed on both sides. You started to see kinks in the armor of Bianca Belair. At least I think I saw kinks in the armor, which I've been saying we're going to get a heel turn here pretty soon in the next couple months. Like I said, from now to SummerSlam, I believe Bianca will be a heel at SummerSlam. Will it be?
Let's see what Asuka can do as champion, because Bianca was a really good champion. Also, big shoes here.
Yeah, but she's proven herself to be a great champion in her own right. And if this is the Asuka we're getting, be careful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's sneaky, she's conniving, and she's kind of that kind of loose cannon, kind of crazy, which is kind of a bad combo with someone who sprays mist, right?
Yeah, I know.
Who sprays the mist as well, right? So she's got what it takes to be champion. She hasn't been champion since 2020, right? She won it. She won the money. Well, she won that Money in the Bank at she won the Money Bank in 2020, and then the title was in there. She held the title for a little while, then she ended up losing it, right? But she was the first pandemic champion after Becky went off to have a baby. So
let's see how good of a champion she can be now, because Bianca is one of the best women's champions ever. So this is a big, passing of the torch, so to speak. I wouldn't know if it's passing of the torch, but this is
Yeah,
got to really
no,
up
but
her game.
no, and I think she will. I don't think this feud's over. I think
I'm
there's a
not saying she
rematch,
won't. I
obviously.
think she needs
Yeah,
to.
she will. I believe she will. If she doesn't, then you know what? I don't know, man. Maybe it's time for her
They'll
to
strip her of the
retire.
belt and somebody else will take it and tough for her.
No, for sure, for sure. But there is some great talent in those wings. I'm telling you, Raquel
Yeah.
Rodriguez, she will be world champion one day. Um, it's a shame that Dakota Kai is out now for 8, 9 months. She's pretty much done for the rest of the year. She
Yeah.
tore, she's ripped some muscles apart, so she's basically gone for a while. Io Sky, this is a great opportunity for her at some point. Those are the guys, those are my main prospects. Raquel and Io. Watch for those two on either brand or against each other. That's going to be fun, man. Ronda Rousey, speaking of the women's division, they won the tag team titles last night, but she went off
Yeah.
on the division. Did you read anything about that? She talks about
No.
how shallow the division is and they're not doing enough to promote the tag team division. There's not enough teams. Like she was taking shots at the division, saying that, it's shallow in the tag team side.
You mean like in an interview or like on social media or what?
No, in an interview with CBS Sports or something like that.
Well, she is right in a way that the women's tag team wrestling there's not a lot of teams. It's just it
No,
isn't a great division. She's right, I guess.
no, she's
I
not
guess she's
wrong,
just
but
playing the heel character. He must have got approval to go on there and say that, right?
yeah, I would have to think so. Yeah, Ronda Rousey says WWE does not care about its dismally shallow women's division. Um, so she basically after winning the champions, blah blah blah. Oh, she did this interview with the New York Post. The lack of competition is really the problem. I mean, we want to be the most active champions out there. I want to be able to defend this title every week and twice a week on both SmackDown and Raw. But how dismally shallow is the women's division right now? There aren't enough women around here to keep us busy for a month.
Building some heat, right? Playing that heel, playing that.
Well, she's done this before, right? I mean, this is not
Yeah.
the first time Ronda Rousey's come on, and I mean, I don't even know if kayfabe even exists anymore, if that's even a thing, right? But she
No.
came out once before and talked about, how the fans suck and how much she's done, and she was like speaking from the heart. She
Would you say
wasn't.
that Ronda Rousey might be? She's probably the most hated women's wrestler there is by the fans. The fans don't like her.
Well, she's a great at what she does as a heel,
But
right?
even that, like even if no matter if she's heel or a baby face, they just don't like her. They just think like she just can't wrestle. They always chant, "You can't wrestle." And
Well,
they're always dogging her, you know.
I think with Ronda, what happened is how she exited UFC. She pouted. She was very whiny. She didn't take her lumps like a champion, right? That diminished her, to be completely honest, right? Like you're so dominant. Everything those women are today is not solely on you, but a big part of MMA and women in MMA is due to you and Gina
Yeah.
Carrero and like a few other women. You're a true pioneer of that sport. And it's not, come on, man. We all know the body will catch up with your skills eventually. You can't fight time. You can't fight Mother Nature. You can't fight aging. It's just going to be a thing.
And she's just not a natural at it like some of the other guys that cross over, right?
Well,
Like
that's the
she's
thing.
tough. She could beat any of these girls with one hand, but like as far as pro wrestling, like she's good, but she's just not. Some of her timing, some of it was just not natural. You know,
Well,
some of
no, I get it.
still.
I get she's not in there enough. You look at Shayna Baszler, who's got great timing, who's got great response because she's honed the craft. She's worked hard at it, right? I mean, Ronda shows up for matches, then she takes off a year, and then she comes back. You're never gonna be good at something if you don't get in that ring. And you can toss around as much as you want, but actual match time, actual ring time, mat time is what makes you, right?
Yep.
Like, it's just like boxing, right? Like you can train spar for years and years and years until you actually get in that ring and actually get some rounds in.
Yeah.
That what's going on, right? So, that it's just a lack of her being in the ring and fighting and actually, producing something and doing something in that sense. But that being said, I mean, what are they supposed to do? They've got a pretty hefty roster on both sides of women in terms of making them all teams. Yeah, I guess you're going to need some more women up there.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get more call-ups. I mean, there are more call-ups now. We got Zoe Starks up there now. We got Indy Hartwell up there right now. She still hasn't made her debut on the brand. We got the Isla Dawn and the Scottish girl. They're up there now as well. They're pretty dominant. They're pretty crazy looking team. Um, so there are teams up there. I'm not sure what Ronda's kind of wanting, but I mean, if you think about it, look at both sides of the ledger. How many men's tag teams? Alpha Academy, the Usos, the Brawling
Vikings,
Brutes, the Viking Raiders. That's four.
Imperium,
Imperium five. Sammy and Kevin, that's six.
Usos, 7.
Right, seven, right? No, I counted the Usos.
But there's not that many. It's about
Yeah.
the same on each
Right.
side.
So there's six on either side. And for the most part, teams are put together. Right?
Yeah, just
I
random
mean,
team.
just random teams. I mean, if you look at the women's division, what do we have? Raquel and Shotzi now, right? That's one. You got Ronda and Shayna, that's two. You have two. Two tag teams.
That's it.
Well, no. Come on, there's got to be more, man. Help me here. Help me here.
Have any names? Like I can't think of any.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
There's
right
random
now.
teams, but there's no team like a Viking.
Exactly,
Or
exactly.
Like Street Profits. We forgot about them.
Yeah, sorry, Street Profits. That's seven, right? So you got seven tag team, Alpha Academy, eight. So you got eight tag teams on one side of the. Oh, maybe Hit Row if you want to count them, but they've been doing a lot of single stuff.
Man,
right?
that was a bad move to bring those guys out. They're not very good, man. Are they even around anymore?
They are around. They're just basically filling in as enhancement talent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thought.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here then. So yeah, the right woman won. Asuka, she's your new women's champion. Let's talk about Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the tribal chief and Solo Sikoa. Wow. I mean, that wasn't a bad match. The match itself
was
was
good.
pretty good, man. I mean, everyone played their roles perfectly. I loved how they tried to mock Roman and Roman caught them both times.
Yeah.
That Kevin did this one spot which really stands out for me where he hit him with the stunner, he bounces off the ropes and hits him with the spear. I mean, the timing on both sides, just at the
Yeah, that was well done.
was really executed well. Sammy mocking him with the super punch and then getting the shit kicked out of him is pretty funny as well. The entrance, the reception that he got coming out was phenomenal.
Oh, they were hot. They loved him.
They loved him. Him announcing the team in Arabic was pretty cool.
Yep.
I don't know exactly what he was saying, but I'm still trying to figure out what this means. but I mean,
the crowd was hot for that.
Crowd was hot for him. The crowd was hot for Mustafa Ali as well. We forgot to talk about him, but he basically put up a gallant effort. Gunther beat him. Okay, so back to this fight. Yeah, I know, back and forth action, really, really close spots. Roman sold really well. I got to give him credit. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? I mean, where's the ego? He was selling.
He did a good job.
Part. He did a great job. Best part of the match probably happened near the end here. I knew it was coming close to an end. I looked at the clock and said, okay, there's got to be at least 10 more minutes. We're over the 3-hour mark here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, something's got to give here now pretty soon. Sure enough, they were out. Kevin and Sammy taking the desks apart. They were going to use them for something. And out come the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, my man. Jimmy and Jay, they beat up Kevin, throw him across the table, eliminate him. They come into the ring. They super kick Sammy. Sammy stands up, puts Solo in a headlock. It's weird how he got him in a headlock. He gets out of the way. They hit Solo. Roman's watching this from outside the ring. He comes in, pushes Jimmy with no respect whatsoever. Jay tries to come in and intervene. He gets shoved in the face and then he gets pushed. They're told there is no more day one. There is no more us. This is it. Turns around, super kick delivered by Jimmy Uso. Crowd is going wild. The look on Jay's face tells it all. Like, what did you do? Corey Graves, what have you done? Paul Heyman's reaction, what? Everyone, my God. But Jimmy, man, he said, fuck it. Told Jay, I'm your brother. I've always been beside you. He's not our brother. I'm your brother. I'm doing something you should have done a long time ago. Turns around, super kicks him again. And basically that was it, man. That kind of the rest of the match is history. Solo kind of gets up, gets stunned, gets a luva kicked, and there you go. Roman Reigns for the first time in 3 years. Yes, he wasn't the one who got pinned, but for the first time in 3 years, Roman Reigns walks out of a pay-per-view
with
with
a
a
loss. Yeah. So what are we gonna
so
do here at SummerSlam? Have a triple tag team match with Zayn and Owens, and then the Usos versus Roman and Solo,
no, no.
something like that.
I no.
You
I
don't think so?
think now the Zayn and Kevin Owens portion of the story is complete. Now you're going to see those guys focus more with other teams. I think they're going to get into a program with Imperium. That's the next program. It'll be Imperium and those guys at Money in the Bank probably as a tag team title match. That's the direction it's going. I think and Kevin and Sammy are done with the story.
I
And
don't
if
think
they
it's. I
well,
agree.
no,
I don't
no,
think
no, no, no.
Sammy and Kevin will last long as a tag team. They need to break these guys up here. Somebody's gonna turn on somebody here.
Well, no, eventually, but I don't think yet. Let them have their run. I think they have a good thing going. I think the way these guys work is really good. I see their dynamic growing now. You got Kevin, who's the loose cannon, who gets angry really fast, and can't understand like, why are you out here? Why are you out here? If we didn't call your name, why would you come out here? That was really evident, right? Like he's the no nonsense Keith Peterson of the wrestling world, like no bullshit with Kevin Owens, and he'll lose his temper. And you got Sammy, who's the calm, collective guy, who's the more of the talker, the negotiator of the crew. So I see the dynamic building here. I think you're going to see these guys probably run with it until SummerSlam at least, right? And then you'll probably see something turn at SummerSlam.
Here's a question I heard in the touch football field the other day. This is the regular guy. Has there ever been a more worst dressed tag team champions ever than Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? They look like they both crawl out of a ditch. And I thought about that. I can't think of one. They look like a couple of dudes you'd see. So they look like a couple of homely guys, man. Like is there anybody worse presentable that have been tag team champions than those guys?
God rest his soul, Brody Lee and Big Red, the guy with the Big Red. When they
Eric
were
Rowan?
Yeah, Eric Rowan.
Yeah, but they were doing that on purpose. He's
No.
here.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. If I have to think of anything like that, that would be
maybe
the closest,
anybody
right?
else?
I guess in the day of gimmicks, the Godwins.
Yeah, I guess.
Phineas and
but they at least dress similar. They look like these guys look like.
Yeah, at least Sammy's not wearing the short anymore. I mean, how can you fault the guy? I mean, if you think about it, the only one who looks like a bum out of the two is Kevin.
Yeah, I know. I just have a
right. Come on, let's think about it. I mean,
that
Sammy wears black and white boots with black tights, right? It's Kevin who's coming in the shorts and the fucking, sleeveless shirt, right? So I mean, if anyone's ask him next match, which one of the two?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, ask him. Ask him.
Out there. I just heard it in random conversation.
No. When do you guys play again?
What's that?
When do you guys play again?
Saturday at 11 semifinals.
Okay, perfect. So I will text you to remind you. Ask the man which one is he referring to. I guarantee he's thinking Kevin Owens.
Yeah, probably.
Right? It has to be. Sammy looks like a wrestler. You can't fault the man for what he's wearing. I mean, outside of his long hair and his beard, which a lot of guys have, Kevin.
Yeah, no, it's not about that. I don't know. There's a strange group of guys. Like I can't.
For a couple of Canadians,
I just can't take them that serious.
I know.
A hard time with it.
Dude, this is something not new, and I know this is real emotion from you because you've been saying this since day one.
I'm prepared for these guys.
Right? Yeah. But overall, the show was good. Yeah, the show was really good. I think that you might see these Roman and those guys go at each other at
SummerSlam tag match.
Maybe SummerSlam tag team match, but like again, you might just see them go at it at Money in the Bank. We don't know yet. Something's right. So something
SmackDown will be good to see how they play this.
Well, like I said, they've had a few days to plan it now, so I'm really looking forward to SmackDown because outside of highlight package after highlight package after highlight package to start every hour, we'll finally get some answers here and see what's going on. But that was pretty much Money in the Bank, or sorry, that was pretty much Night of Champions. I say Money in the Bank because basically that's how Monday Night Raw starting. We're building up to the next show, which is Money in the Bank. This is the third show now since WrestleMania that it's not been on North American soil. A premium live event, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Now we will be in the UK, London O2 Arena, July 1st. Happy Canada Day, everybody, for Money in the Bank. The qualifying matches have already started. We won't break it down too hard, but I can tell you this: Shinsuke Nakamura and Ricochet have qualified so far for the Money in the Bank. Here we go, man. So the Miz lost. I think Ricochet being in the match is pretty decent. I think that's
He needs
okay.
to be out there because he can fly around, do some
Yeah,
crazy
he
moves.
can
Right?
fly. Shinsuke against Bronson Reed. I really felt that Bronson should have gotten the spot.
I
But
thought so.
I thought so too. But again, Shinsuke's kind of been out for a while. So I
But he's
can kind of, yeah,
They're
so
building
trying
back
to
up.
build him back up. And, it's not going to hurt Bronson in any way. And the way Bronson lost is kind of knocking himself out, which kind of helps keeping him strong. So it was a clean win on that front. So we got those two guys in there right now. Other than that, that's basically what we have for Money in the Bank. Monday Night Raw itself was pretty good. I can't complain. Seth and
That was
AJ. Yeah, Seth and AJ at the end against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. That was your main event. Again, it's kind of interesting what the Judgment Day was saying. They're talking about Roman and how now they're the strongest group because of everything that happened with them. This is fun. I'm excited to see where things kind of go from here, man. We're far removed from WrestleMania, and wrestling looks very different than it did after WrestleMania, right?
changes really quick, man. Week to week, you never know what's going to happen, what you're going to see. Well, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense, like with AJ Styles stuff. But that's wrestling. That's why you love it. You don't know what's going to happen.
No, 100%, man. That's why we love what we love. So basically, Chance, that's basically it. Why don't I just take a quick run here and see if there's any kind of stories of anything that kind of make anything interesting in here. All right. Okay. Backstage reaction. So I saw this one. So you won't be seeing former Universal Champion Strowman anytime soon, as he is dealing with an unspecified injury. This injury is different from the concussion he suffered April 21st. So basically, this guy's out for a little bit. He will require surgery. He won't be around for a while. So no Braun Strowman for the Braun Strowman fans out there.
No
To be
Bray
honest,
Wyatt, no Hit Row.
To be honest, man,
Are any of these guys that came back that were fired? Have they been any of them been a success? Well, we know Bray Wyatt kind of flopped. We know Braun Strowman's out. Hit Row was a flop. None of these guys that the fans thought, oh my God, you can't fire them, have come back and been any good. So I think they were justified of being pushed out because they haven't done anything. That's unfortunate they've been injured, but it's part of the game.
Yeah. No.
Now, am I missing something that came back?
Look.
Oh,
When Strowman came back, because he's such a jaded character, he's up at the upper echelon of maybe 3 or 4 guys in the company in terms of what you can do with him, right? Just because of what he's capable of and the way they've built him and everything, he's very limited in what he can do and accomplish. So Braun coming back didn't make sense to me because what are you going to do with him? There was one guy that I had no problem with them releasing. I thought the Bray Wyatt one was a mistake, and you know what? It's kind of blown up at me, to be honest. I mean,
well, you know what it is that some people, we got one boss making decisions. The other guys below him think, wait a minute, I know more. I'm smarter than the boss. I'm just talking about any kind of profession. I'm smarter. I know better than this guy. And so Vince got rid of these guys. And then the other guy comes in, wait a minute, I'm smarter than this cool man. He brings all these guys back and they've been complete duds. Now, is there somebody that's come back that I'm forgetting? Because Hit Row wasn't good. Bray and Braun. Who am I missing?
You're missing. There's one guy more that they brought back, and he hasn't done shit on his stick, to be honest. And that's been probably my biggest disappointment because I thought, I don't want to say his name because you're right. Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross.
Oh, Karrion Kross is another guy.
Right? That's what I mean. Like, he was one guy I thought, like, he's got it all. He's got the size, he's got the gimmick, he's got the look, he can have hair, he can be bald. he sells. He's good at what he's got that. He's got that what you want,
Yeah, he
right?
does.
And I know that they're going to try to push him now.
They're gonna give him another shot.
Give him another shot. So let's see what they do, right? Like, I mean, at some point he's supposed to feud with Roman, right? So
I hope he's
that's something.
that. Hopefully, that's a big push for him. They're giving him all the chances.
Well, let's see
So,
what they do, right? Like, I mean, no one they brought back has been successful. None of them,
no.
right? But I mean, no,
So that's my point is that like so everybody was going crazy and oh my god, how dare the old man's lost his mind, but he was right because he knows the ins and outs of these guys. He's been doing it for so long. He was right to cut these guys because Bray's nothing but trouble, man. Like, is he hurt right now? Is it physical or mental? Like, what's wrong with him? Have you heard? I don't know. I'm asking.
it's a physical. I don't know what it is, but he's dealing with something physical. So whatever it is, I don't know what it is. No one's really talked about it. He's been around. People are seeing him. He's looking forward to getting back. So he is on his way back. What's he suffering from? I don't know. But let's see
They're
what
pretty
they
tight-lipped
do.
about it, right? To keep
Well,
that
they have to
mystery
be.
character.
Well, they have to be because everything fumbled, right? They fucked over Bobby in the process,
Yeah, that's too. I feel bad
right?
for him.
Yeah, he lost out on WrestleMania. I'm sure they compensated him. I'm sure they did well by him to make
Well,
up.
financially,
I
I'm sure
mean,
he was all right, but
right. But I mean, at the end of the day, like he wasn't even on Raw this week, right? No, he's on
that's what.
SmackDown now. No, he's on SmackDown now.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta get used to these rosters now. So yeah, let's just see what they do, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think because they have to be careful in how they bring him back, because quite frankly, that whole storyline died. Like, even what happened to Captain Howdy, Uncle Howdy? When Bray dropped,
Oh,
everything dropped, right? Like, if they wanted to, they could have had a Howdy versus Lashley match at Mania.
I think they're letting Bray Wyatt have too many ideas. With Uncle Howdy. They should say, no, this is how it's going to be. Work within this and be creative and do your thing, but you're not going to be making all these random characters, Funhouse and Uncle Howdy. It's too much.
Here is what I know. Okay. Dad is working remotely and making changes to shows. He won't come live anymore. He's working from home.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, he is.
So if that's the case, and that wasn't the case when Bray came back,
yeah,
there's only one man who can probably harness him properly,
Vinny.
And Vinny. And if Vinny's working from home and making changes to the show from there, then you know what? I think we will see something a little different.
So what's Vinny just yelling Triple H and says, "Hey, do this, do that," and Triple H does it, or what?
I don't know what the dynamic is, but
I wonder how the communication goes. It's hard to do when you're not actually.
No, they're probably talking. They're talking all the time, right? Like Vince. I think Vince takes it even more seriously now because he's the head of Endeavor, like that whole group, like the whatever the company's called. Like he's the boss now, right? No, Endeavor's the company that bought it, but they combining UFC and WWE. Yeah, combining the two, making them one company. It's
gonna be publicly traded pretty quick here. You'll be
able to so they're going to be putting it under a different name, right?
Then they call it. Well, the stock thing will be called TKO, but I don't know what they're actually going to call it.
Yeah, there you go, TKO. So the stock is called TKO. So he's the head of both those companies. So in a way, if you really want to think about it, he's above Dana.
He is above Dana. Dana's like Triple H. People don't know
that. Yeah. No, he's a Triple H. He's a Triple H of that side and whatnot. But Vince sees over both of them in essence. But Vince does nothing with the UFC. He's not overseeing.
No.
But if push came to shove, and if he wanted to, he could tell Dana to fuck off.
Yeah.
If
Bray Wyatt's gonna be playing around, Bray Wyatt won't stick around long. Not with Vinny Boy back. He's not gonna put up with it.
No. So let's see what they do there. But yeah, everyone.
Oh, speaking of that, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. I was looking at the YouTube number here. This is crazy. After Saudi Arabia, WWE got like 4 or 5 million more subscribers. So WWE right now has 95 million subscribers. Impact Wrestling is the second highest. I'm surprised at that. 5 million. AEW 4.3 million. So in essence, WWE has 91 more million subscribers on YouTube over AEW. That is an astronomical number.
Well, look at their TikTok numbers, look at their Instagram numbers, look at their Facebook
numbers.
Yeah,
by the way, WWE's got 70 million more followers in NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, all the big 4 main sports. 70 more million followers. And this product is, like you said, it's worldwide. It's all over.
It's global,
it's
man.
It's insane how popular WWE is.
95 million, right?
Yes.
You're close. You're close to 1 billion people A billion people love professional wrestling,
Hmm.
right? We're talking, okay, you know what? There has to be over a billion people who like wrestling that don't have internet, that don't have
That's
computers,
that's part of it too. Or
right?
older people like like our parents' age, don't really
Yeah,
do internet
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So if you think about it, that number is a billion.
And yeah,
Now,
and they think
now,
about the Saudi Arabia show is even more popular than the other ones.
right now, we're talking a world population of about 7 billion people. You're basically looking at maybe 10%, a little under 10% of the world's population loves this.
Mhm.
A billion people
Because it's
can't
got
be
everything.
wrong.
It's got action. It's got story. It's
Yeah,
got one.
no, a billion people cannot be wrong, my man.
No,
Right? Little kids to
can you believe it?
grandmas.
That Impact Wrestling has
Yeah,
more
no,
subscribers than AEW. I was shocked.
I do because TNA's been around longer, to be
That's
fair.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Uh, right, than AEW. And again, I think we can talk about this, and we have talked about this. It's every market has its own niche, right?
Yeah,
Impact, the people who love Impact Wrestling are the people that like that style of wrestling, right?
yeah,
AEW, we've talked about it. It's the IWC's wrestling, right?
yes.
And this is where all those other products fail, even though they have international stars and whatnot. They don't really promote internationally the way WWE does.
No, W's massive
When
reach.
WWE says it's universal, it's global, it's legit global and universal, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
They're
So
only getting
so
bigger and stronger every time they get more
they
popular.
are.
By
No, they are. And we got to keep in mind, like Indishare coming on Raw last night. Why are they promoting it? Because there's over a billion people in that country who love these guys,
who are those
right?
guys? They just crushed a couple jobbers, eh? That's
No,
smart. Build
yeah,
them
yeah,
up.
no, they crushed them. And like I said, one of those guys, Veer, he was the guy from $1 Million Arm. He was one of those pitchers.
Oh, was
That,
he?
yeah.
I
Remember
didn't know
that
that.
the $1 Million Arm movie?
Yeah, he's in there.
He was in there. That was him. He's Rinku.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, him and the other guy. So the other guy, so the story goes, it's a movie called The $1 Million Arm. It's basically John Hamm is in it, and they basically go to India to run this sort of a contest to see if they can find anyone who could throw a baseball, looking for
Yeah, yeah,
pitchers, right?
yeah,
So cricket is huge in India. So you got all these bowlers. That's what they call a person who pitches in cricket, a bowler. All these
yeah.
bowlers came out, and out of thousands upon thousands and thousands of people who tried, two of them made it. And these two guys were Rinku
Made
and the
it.
other guy. So these guys went down to California, lived with this guy, this scout, lived with him. They took him down to USC. They started to train with that team. And then they had their tryouts with the different MLB teams, and Pittsburgh signed them both.
That's pretty cool.
So they worked the minor leagues. I don't know if they ever got MLB time. Maybe I
I don't
think they
think
did.
so.
I'm not sure, but I'd have to look it up. Maybe they had some preseason games or something, but I think
Maybe.
they had their moment. Um, After that kind of all ended, the other guy went off to Australia. He's out there coaching baseball, working with stuff like that.
Cool.
And now you see this guy, he put on some weight and put on some pounds, grew out his hair and beard, and now he's a
Now look
professional
at him.
wrestler, right? So
Talented guy, talented athlete.
yeah. So Sangha and Rinku, or Sangha and Veerman, that's not necessarily for this market, right? And
No,
that's
but
where
look at their moments though.
no, they look good, but you got to keep in mind when we get different things. Like a lot of people I've seen complain, why are they putting these guys on? No one cares. Yeah, but no one in this market cares.
But over there they do.
Over there, you got people, and you got to keep in mind when we watch Raw here, they're watching it for breakfast over there.
Yeah.
Kids are getting up and getting ready for school watching Raw
When they see these guys.
when they see these guys, right? Like it's kind of funny. I have this thing at home where I can watch different stations around the world. So I have all of my stations where Raw will show up. So I can watch Raw from America, I can watch Raw in Canada, I can watch Raw from the UK, I can watch Raw in India, and the commercials are funny as hell.
Oh, I bet, dude.
But you don't realize that how much promotion and stuff that these guys do around the world. Like I'm watching this commercial in India, commercial segment, and it's the Miz and so. Like, what the fuck is this commercial? right? You know what I
It's
mean?
insane, dude. We don't we only think of it in North American eyes. We don't see it from like
Yeah, we don't
England, India,
exactly, and
and
which is why I'm trying to get that out to the fan here. It's just like everything they do is calculated. You don't fuck with them, man. That's the
no,
biggest machine in the world.
they're
I
the
mean,
top
no
dogs
one.
for a reason, by
They
far.
are absolutely Chance, man. We blabbered on and we jabbered on and we gabbered on, man. The hours flown by. Do you got a top five or
Yep,
anything? What do you got?
I do. You ready?
I'm
I
ready.
want you to name your top 5 worst tag teams that were champions. That can be from WCW, WWE, AEW, whatever you got.
God, worst five tag teams ever. Oh, dude, that's tough. Like to win the tag team titles, you got to have a little bit something there to be a shit
Yeah.
tag team and win the titles. I mean, I'm really perplexed to think right now, man. You put me on. Wow, you got me. No, I'm really trying to think here because
No,
I'm
it's a
thinking.
tough one.
I mean,
You don't say that. You're not saying that they're crappy.
okay,
But your
okay,
least favorite, right?
okay. God damn it, dude. What have you done here?
You
Okay,
can use WCW, AEW,
yeah,
TNA.
dude. I'm going across all the boards here. I'm trying to think of the shittiest tag teams possible.
Stuff.
It's very tough because all the teams that have ever won tag teams have been pretty decent tag teams, man. You know what? I would have to say one tag team. The only tag team that, dude, I don't have one. I
Well,
don't have any.
what about somebody you could say like
Like I
Ted
keep thinking.
DiBiase and IRS, Money Inc. Like they're good, but they're not. They wouldn't be a top team for me. Somebody
Okay,
like that, I would
yeah, but
say.
see, when you say the worst, I'm thinking like the bottom of the barrel tag teams, right? When I look at Money Inc., yeah, there are no Road Warriors, there are
The
no that, but
Quebecers, there's a few
but
teams that
but
had a
they
couple.
all had runs, so they all had solid runs, and
Well, I'm
they
not saying they're not good, but I'm saying they're the least of the bottom of the barrel for the champs. Not everybody can be, the Legion of Doom.
okay, fine. If we're looking at if we're looking at it from that way, the Killer Bees,
Okay,
um, the Heavenly
and it can be
Bodies,
just a regular tag
yeah,
team too.
yeah,
That is
the
better. What
Heavenly
about Billy
Body.
and Chuck? I put those guys in there.
Okay, hold on. So I got the Heavenly Bodies,
Okay.
Jimmy Del Rey, and Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Okay.
Um, and again, they were good, but I'm trying to find shitty teams here, right? Just looking at all of them. So the Killer Bees, the Heavenly Bodies,
Two.
um, the Godwins.
Yeah.
We talked about those guys earlier. The Godwins, the Orient Express,
Yep.
and even though they were huge in stature, they were big in size. They could have been so much more. The Powers of Pain.
Yeah. I think of teams like the Body Donnas. There's so
Yeah,
many,
the
right?
the Body
Ours,
Donnas. Who are those?
Skip
Bo,
Zip,
the Beverly Brothers.
Beverly Brothers,
Yeah.
Headbangers.
The Headbangers, Mosh and Thrash. Yeah. Now the ball's rolling, eh?
Yeah. So that's
Um.
more along those kind of lines. But it's tough
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you got to think. You
No,
think
it's
about it on the
tough.
spot makes it hard.
Well, it's not so. It wasn't so tough. Now that I understand the parameters, they're just flying off the lips, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of guys like, okay, did James Ellsworth ever win the tag team titles, and who did he win
Yeah.
it with?
Yeah. I know.
Right? That's how far down I was going in the bucket. All right, Chance, I tell you what,
Right.
man, we have basically covered everything we needed to cover here. We
Yeah.
basically informed the world of this, that, and the other. You know what? We put on a cracker of a show here, man.
A good one.
This Thursday, yeah, this Thursday we will hit you guys up with some boxing. We got some matches to discuss that went down this past weekend. Some surprises, some not so surprising.
Yep.
Everything was on the other side of the pond too. We didn't really have anything in North America per se. There was a top ranked card per se, but nothing huge or monstrous about it. I think it was in San Diego. I think with
Yeah.
Memorial
Major.
with Memorial Day weekend and everything as well, I don't think too much was going on in the world of boxing, right? So
Not really.
everything happened on the other side of the pond. So yeah, we'll touch on that. We'll take a look
Yeah.
at some of the stories that are making headlines, all that and so much more on the next episode of Samp and Chance. Until then, I am Bobby Sampson with my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels.
In the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. Everyone, please enjoy the rest of the week. Be safe. Enjoy yourselves. That's all we can ask for, man. Just have a great week, and we will talk to you guys on Thursday. Samp&Chance out. Adios, muchachos.